Uh,
Good morning.
welcome, welcome, welcome. What a beautiful day it is. Our topic today: what to do if you're not feeling the day. We have those moments, don't we? We have those days where we feel, oh, this is hard. I'm really going through it. And the memories come rolling in. Okay? What do you do with that? Well, you acknowledge that the day is not as you would like it to be so far. That's the first step. Always acknowledge that it may not be as you would like it to be right this instant. And once you acknowledge it, then you ask yourself, well, what kind of day do I want? What kind of day do I want to experience? Okay. Then, when you answer that question, you will have realized that you have slipped from the state of the wish fulfilled, meaning we have allowed ourselves to be pulled from where we want to be by the memory of where we were and where we are. And that is completely natural and it is completely normal because it is the nature of man to live by way of its memories. That's what we do. We are creatures of habit. So if you find that your day is not as you would like it to be, once you acknowledge, you see, acknowledgement does not mean that we rock in the corner. What happens to us if we rock in the corner and we entertain the weight of that day, the burden of that day? My dear friends, if we do that, we open ourselves up to be crushed by the day. And you are not meant to be crushed by anything. You are the crusher. Remember this. So when you acknowledge, it doesn't mean that you have a pity party. It doesn't mean that you cry in the corner. And listen, if you cry, that's totally okay too. It is okay. It is a natural function. But what we don't do is allow the day to overwhelm us because we think it is impossible to fix. The thing that frees us is when we answer the question, what would it be like if I were in this new situation? How would I live my life from this new place? That is the key to your freedom. That is the key to your freedom. What would it be like if I were living in a different space, a different frame of mind, a different life, a different experience? What would that be like for me? See, now when you stop and you entertain that, now you've moved yourself from your old state to your new state. Hmm. You've moved from the old to the new, and you'll begin to feel better. Almost instantly, you'll feel a lightening of a burden, a weight. And so, the more you continue to entertain what you want to become, who you want to be, and how it feels to you, that's where you set yourself free. Because either way, man is going to think. Either way, we're going to think. When we think in a particular way, how does it feel to us? Does it drag you down and feel like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh? Ho hum. Or does it pick you up and elevate you so that you can continue to move through the day? You choose. Now, if you were here last night for the lecture, remember the story of the insane man in the Bible who was naked and hiding amongst the tombstones in the cemetery. And Jesus said, "Hey, let me set you free of those things because I know you want to be." Huh? And he looked at Jesus and he said, in all of his brazen nudity, he said, "No, no, 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 no. It's okay. I'll keep them. I'll keep them." We have a saying, better the devil you know than the devil that you don't know. Wait, you want to know the devil? Who is the devil? Your contrary and wayward thoughts of doubt. So, I'm talking on an individual level, the things that happen in our minds. Because if you pay attention to it, you will notice that if you sit in the corner and you reminisce and you ruminate about how horrible it is, you see, you're thinking. And not only are you thinking, but your body is responding to what you're thinking about. But if you choose to entertain the good things and the possibilities, now you are still thinking and the body is still responding. But the outcomes are different. Which outcome would you prefer? Would you prefer the outcome that moves you forward in the direction of your fulfilled desire? Or would you rather be like the naked man in the cemetery who would rather stay with his superstitions and his prejudices and all of his old beliefs and defend them? But here's the thing. We don't defend them because we are foolish. We defend them because they are our habit and we've had them for so long. So if you can remember that the thing you're going through in the day is simply a habitual thought that you have had for quite some time, if you can remember that that's what you're actually doing in the heat of the moment, you can change your life by saying, "Oh, snap, that's what I'm doing. I've slipped out of the state. But let me slide on back into the state. The new state, the state of the wish fulfilled. What would it be like if I were the man or the woman I said I wanted to be? What would that feel like to me? Let me entertain those possibilities." Esther Hicks would tell you, reach for a better feeling thought. Put yourself into the vortex. That's what she would tell you. Dr. Joe Dispenza would tell you, get into the quantum field and make your change. Neville Goddard says to you, your imagination is God. Your imagination is God. You are God. You have the capacity to look at the situation. And even though you cannot see it at the moment in the physical realm, you do see it and you do feel it in the invisible, on the inside of you. That's what he tells you. Now, all three people are telling you the exact same thing from different perspectives. One is channeling it through Abraham. The other is a scientist, and he tells you of the existence of a quantum realm. You can't see the quantum realm, but he's telling you that it is there based upon science, because that's what he does. Neville is telling you that it is there based upon the laws and the principles of creation. Mentalism, the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. Can we see the mental? Well, it is reflected in the actions. So you see, as within, so without, as above, so below. That is the law of correspondence. Because everything is moving, it vibrates. And it's moving from where you are to where you're going. Polarity. They look like they're different, they're opposites, but they're not. They're the same in their nature. And in that movement from where you're going, from where you are to where you're going, you begin to form a rhythm, a habit. a pattern, a particular predictable way of doing something. And as you do that, a cause emerges and it brings about an effect. So every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. But now we land upon gender. Gender. You generate an idea or a thought and you say, oh, but I would like to experience such and such. Now it is invisible to the naked eye. But you project it somewhere. You see, it's invisible to the naked eye, but you project it somewhere equally as naked that you can't see. But you know you project it somewhere. And where you project it, you would liken it to a womb. And it knits everything together. And then there you have your experience. You see, all of these things happen invisibly, they happen within you. So that's why if you entertain the not so nice day too long, the habit of doing that is so strong that we get stuck there. We get frozen there. We get pulled right back into the old way because it is familiar and it is comforting. It's what we call your comfort zone. But to move beyond the comfort zone, you must choose the new thought, word, or action that you would prefer to do instead. Because listen, you and I are always going to be in a comfort zone. That is our nature. The thing that is familiar, it is called the habit. You're always in a comfort zone. The thing is to choose the comfort zone that always keeps you moving in the direction of where you want to be going and who you want to become. We're always in a state of becoming. How? Because everything moves. And we're constantly moving from where we are because we outgrow. We expand. You take up more space, you require more space. So you see, this is why I tell you it's perfectly okay. And you had a bad day, right? You remember that song? Can't sing it too much on YouTube, but you remember that song. It is perfectly natural and it is all right to have a not so beautiful moment in your day. But when you remember that that not so beautiful feeling has emerged from a memory, from a habitual way of thinking, and you catch it and you say, I see what you're doing. That's my old way. Well, let's do the new way, shall we? And you remind yourself to do the new over and over again until you don't have to say, wait a minute, I'm doing the new. No, you become the new. So now it supplants the old way. All it requires of you is practice. And what makes practice simpler, you know, a spoonful of sugar, right? What makes practice simpler for us is to enjoy the thing that we're doing. If you have to drag yourself to do it, who wants to do that? It feels like a chore. Nobody likes doing chores. Hello. This is why our laundry piles up and our dishes pile up because nobody wants to do that. We want to wave a magic wand, but you have a magic wand. Enjoy the change. Why would you enjoy the change? Because, my beautiful friends, you don't have to remain as you are. If you wanted to remain as you are, you would not have said, oh God, this sucks. You would not say it. But the fact that you can recognize that it sucks tells you that you want a change. Let the wanting of the change be the inspiration for you to initiate the change and say, What would it be like if I did change and become this type of person? Allow allow the wanting of that change to stir you up. As Neville says, allow it to rouse you. Allow it to stir you up from your slumber. That's what you do. You don't fear the change. You are the initiator of change. So are you afraid of yourself then? I saw a meme yesterday, and the meme said, if the person that you love and trusted the most designed your afterlife, would you be afraid? Seems like a silly question. But when you are the initiator and the creator of your own experiences, you have nothing to fear. But for so long, we've been told that God is on the outside, even though Scripture would say the kingdom of heaven is within. And where does the king reside? But within his kingdom. Even when the Scripture says, ye are gods, we still have a perception that God is on the outside. We still have that perception. We still think that there's two. But in actuality, you are one. So, you see, now that you know that it is okay, perfectly okay, and natural and normal to reminisce and remember things, choose wisely what you will remember. Choose, listen, to choose is to be deliberate. It means you're the one who selects. It's like you flip through, like on the Lazy Susan in the cupboard, and you flip through and you spin it around until you choose what you want, and you stop and you take it off the Lazy Susan. Right? Which means you don't have to go rummaging through the cupboard with the Lazy Susan. No, 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 no. All the things are there. All you do is turn, 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 and select. Everything is before you. You bring what you want to you before your mind's eye. We are always doing this. Every time you remember something, you have brought it before your mind's eye. You didn't go chasing it. You said, oh, come, darling, come to me. And you remember the memory. But what caused you to remember it? Perhaps something you heard, something you tasted, something you smelled, something you touched, something you heard. You see? Your senses caused you to recall a memory because that is our nature. So now, if you want to change your life, create the memory. That's what you're doing when you ask, what would it be like if I were the man or the woman I wanted to be? You're creating a memory. You are creating a memory that you will draw from over and over and over again to re-experience in your world. This is why we are deliberate when we do it. If you are deliberate when you do it, which means when you are the one to select it, instead of allowing your senses to dictate to you, oh, look, you had your favorite food today and you flashed back all the way to your early childhood with that favorite piece of candy. It was the candy. You weren't deliberate. It was the candy. But if you ask yourself, what would it be like if I were the man or the woman I wanted to be? Now you're being deliberate. Now you are choosing how you want to be. There is your power. Remember always, there is an ebb and a flow, a rhythm. There is an ebb and a flow. And here's a secret for you. If you dabble in the stock market, it rises and it falls. But you see the nature of man, we like security and we want to panic. But if you remember that that thing that is low will go high, and that thing that is high will go low, remember, it rises and it falls. If you know that it rises and it falls, you prepare yourself and you don't panic and sell all your stock because, oh my God, it tanked. You don't do that. You hold because you know the rise is coming. Remember, there is an ebb and there is a flow to things, a rhythm. So if you observe the rhythm, you'll know when to act. Just the same way you know when that little old lady says, oh, honey, it's time for some clam chowder. She goes out when? At low tide. Why? Because the water has receded. It has ebbed. And she digs for clams because that is the most opportune time. When the tide comes in, you can't see the bottom. Well, how are you going to dig for clams? So if you observe the natural ebbs and flows in your life, you will see where to change, when it's most opportune to change, so that we don't get caught up in the emotion of it. We have emotions, we feel them because we have a feedback mechanism. You're inside the body, so you need the interpretation. As within, so without. That's natural. It's going to be there because it is law. But what we don't allow ourselves to do is to be ruled by an effect. Select the cause that matches the desired effect you would like. That's why Neville tells you to ask yourself, what would it be like if? That is you choosing the desired effect. And when you choose the desired effect, oh, look what happens. The cause emerges. Or, aka, the action you should take emerges. See? But we don't like to spend time, you know. And it's not a bad thing that we don't like to spend time on the good things. It is only a force of habit that we spend time in the negatives. Look at humanity. Look at all the sayings we have that tell you what we do. Misery loves company. Because we love to share the bad news, don't we? That's what we... Habit. It's only a habit. So when you can remember that the thing you're doing now is the thing you conditioned yourself to do and practiced it the same way every time, you will know that you can free yourself by selecting a new thought, word, or action that you would desire to do instead and stick with it. You know how the song tells you, stand by your man? Well, stand by the habit that you choose. This is why we persist. Because we must persist. Thoth said something very interesting. He said, Earth resists man. There must be a level of resistance. Not resistance as in not going your way, but in leaning into who and what you say you want to be. You lean into it. You put your mental effort into it. That's what you're doing. Neville says, resist the urge to return to the old habit. So if you're going to resist the urge, what does that mean you're doing? You're putting your power and your capacity into what you want to become. That's what you're doing. That is what you're doing. Let us take a moment now, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space this morning, because I don't want to keep you long, because I want to take this young man out of the closet. Yes, my rooster, that's where he is. Because he started early. And I said, no, wait. So, who's here on Twitter this morning? Driving T, it's symmetric. C staff, it is brilliant to see you all today on Twitter. It really is. And listen, if you missed that lecture last night, whoo, you better go back today and listen to it. Thinking fourth dimensionally, that's the one. Who's here on YouTube and Facebook this morning? The better man one. Renee, darling. Double A, you caught us today. Checkmate. Jeff, hello, darling. A not. And for the others who've not made the Checkmate says last night was amazing. I know, right? Listen, I'm still moved. Thank you for being here on YouTube and Facebook this morning. Who's here in Fanbase? Who is here in Fanbase this morning? Commander is here. Moon, Electric, Jiggy Janet. Happy is in the house. Hello, Joyce, darling. Flo Smiles, and Jeannie, Stephanie, Rib, Miss Boricua, Joaquin, 808, Marquise, Shea Butter, KZ. Let me pop into the chat. Oh, Lord, I can see the chat. I think they fixed it. Yes. Shea Butter says last night's lecture was fire. They said, man, let me tell you something. Or how would she say it? Let me tell you something, Linda. It was absolutely amazing. So you see, you use the fire and the passion from last night to help you to stay focused upon the desired state, which is the state of the wish fulfilled, which means you are who you say you are. It is done. Use that passion to help you stay there. That's what you do with it. That's what causes us to become doers of the word. I had a young man or young person, I don't know if it was male or female, they commented about the Bible and how do you know it's real and isn't it just roundabout of things? And I thought that was a great question. So we're going to touch on it here. It's not whether we want to say the Bible is true, false, or a hodgepodge. Remember like Bruce Lee when he said, I am showing you the beauty of the moon, but yet you look at how crooked my finger is. You miss the whole point. What can you apply from that book to lift you out of where you presently are? But you see, habitually, we have always looked for a ruler. Habitually, people have always sought to be ruled over. Why? Because it was something we learned how to do. Somewhere along the line, man was taught, listen, you should be on your knees. There's only ever one time one should be on their knees. That's if you're praying. But I digress, Marquise. I digress. But hear me. You're not meant to grovel. You're not meant to beg. You are meant to command. I'm going to say that to you again. You are not meant to beg. You are not meant to grovel. You are meant to command. Command who? You. You're meant to command you into becoming the person you say you want to be. That was from last night's lecture as well, when he asks you, which one are you? Are you the madman in the cemetery? Are you the woman with the issue of blood whose mind cannot close around your desire? Or are you the one who can tell yourself, rise and walk? Which one are you? See? So it's not whether the Bible or any holy book is good, bad, or indifferent. Your perception of that thing is what will dictate how you use it. If you see it as a means to control you, well, then you will always be fighting against it. But if you see it as the keys to your freedom, well, then you'll never be bound or trapped by anything, would you? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Because you would know that it is psychological in its nature. It is teaching you how to use your mind. That is what it is teaching you how to do. So this morning, right? Yes, checkmate. He says he's grown to understand the Bible, its truth encapsulated in a mythological story. That's exactly what it is. This is because, listen, YouTube now came out with something and they're trying to encourage people to become better storytellers. So, what does that tell you? You think anything is new? They want you to become a better storyteller, but you are a storyteller. That's what you already are. But the nuance to storytelling is, how do you apply your personality to tell the story? How do you do that? If you remain true to that part of yourself instead of trying to become like Mr. Beast or everybody else, you will rise and grow in your own way, the way that is perfect for you. But you see, we want to compare ourselves to each other. To what purpose? Oh, trust me, I know a thing or two about comparison. I do. Oh my God, but they're so much better than me. Oh, I know a thing or two about that. But what does that do? Creates a shitty day. That's exactly what it does. Because it drags you down. Because it makes you think that you're now somehow inferior to someone. You're neither inferior nor superior. You are, however, unique in your expression of the creator that is within you. That is where your focus should be. That's where your focus should be. As King Thoy reminded us yesterday, we let our light shine. How can you let your light shine when you're busy looking at somebody else's light? But then you can't see your own. So the purpose of having a light or the creator within you is for you to bring it forth. That's the purpose of it being there. And we're running around, oh my God, I need to find my purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to express the creator that is within you. That's your purpose. You thought it was something else? There's nothing more glorious than that. So how do you express the creator? Well, that depends. What is it that you do? And you do it naturally, you know. See that part? Just like the lazy Susan, you don't have to go find it. It is there. But you see, we have allowed the opinions of others or our comparison to others. You see, you can't extinguish the light, right? But you can shroud it. You can hide it. You can't extinguish it, but you can hide it. So when you compare yourself to someone else, or you allow the opinions of another to impregnate your fertile mind, what are you doing? You are shrouding your light, which means you're putting it under a bushel. And what is the directive of Scripture? Don't hide your light. Put it on top of a mountain so that all can see it. That's what we do. So today, when you catch yourself having a not so pleasant moment within your day, fix that. And how do we fix it? This is not acceptable. This is not good enough for me. This is not the type of day I want to experience. Well then, what type of day would you like to experience? And begin to see it in your mind's eye. You are a creator. And you must see it in your mind's eye before you can see it anywhere else. Oh, you think me lying? Ask anybody. Ask an architect. Ask an artist. You ever see that guy on YouTube? He has a little square tile, and you come by and you tell him what you'd like him to paint. and you tell him what you want him to paint. And he sits there and he dips his finger in the paint and he paints on this tile and it looks like, what the heck? This is madness. But where do you think he's drawing it from? He's drawing it from his invisible mind that you can't see. Like the guy, they flew him up in the helicopter so he could look down. I think it was upon New York City. Or was it San Francisco? I don't remember where it was, but I remember the gist of the story. He was flown up in the helicopter to overlook the city. He came back, and on his wall, he drew this mural. Was he still flying in the helicopter? No. Where was the image now? Inside his mind. And what was he doing? Drawing it from the inside outward. Because even before he flew up in the helicopter, the city that he drew was already imagined in the mind of someone else, the person who laid the grid. It was in their mind's eye. So you see, everything, life emerges from within. So whatever is emerging from you, whether it would be your thoughts, your words, or your actions, if they are not leading you in the direction of who you say you are, in other words, if it is a blatant contradiction, if you say, I am confident, if you say that, but your behavior as you walk into a room would contradict your confidence, well, then you need a change. You need a change of mind. Go back. We can either see it on our own or we see it vicariously. Somebody's done it. Can you see it? That's the question. If you can see it, then do it. If you can't see it, sit for a moment. And you whisper, show me. Listen, it works every time. Show me if you can't see it. Well, that's what you want, isn't it? You want to see? But what if you want to hear? Then we say, tell me. That's what it is. So remember from today on, do not feel restricted by a quote unquote unpleasant day. Do not allow the sun to go down on your anger. This is what the scripture tells us, which means what? Don't allow yourself to go to bed in a shitty mood. Sorry, Angela. Choose better words. Do not allow yourself to go to bed in a burdensome mood. Because as you go to bed, you understand. Let me personify your subconscious mind. Let me give her a personality. As you fall asleep, your subconscious mind floats up to the surface. Why? Because your analytical mind, your critical thinking mind, recedes. So she has to rise, the subconscious, and she comes up, and whatever thought you present her with is what she takes. And she says, I thank you for your offering. She does not judge your offering. She doesn't say, what is this? It is not good enough. Take it back. She does not say that to you. She's non-discriminating. She says, oh, what a lovely present for me. Why, thank you. Let me go and multiply it for you. So when you go to bed, fall asleep in the state of the wish fulfilled. Fall asleep in the mindset of, oh, look what I can do. I have the power to change my world, and I'm changing it like this. This is the picture I'm painting for myself. And Neville says you can use that small scene that confirms it, or you can use a phrase that confirms to you that this is what you're creating. And you fall asleep like that, because up rises your faithful subconscious mind. And she says, oh, for me? Oh, well, you shouldn't have. I thank you so much. Here, let me take that and let me multiply it for you. So what are you putting in there? More problems or your desired outcome? Because whatever you put in, she's going to give you back. She's faithful like that, eh? She is forever faithful. You see? That's what we do. Yes, I'm loving you guys in the chat here. Yeah, you're not meant to beg. And what can you apply from the Bible? You see, we apply it mentally. Mentally. If you hear sacrifice, what are you going to sacrifice? Sacrifice the thing that is no longer working for you. How do you sacrifice it? As we learned last night in the lecture, when you give birth to something, you have to feed it. Well, ask any new mother. We all know the breastfeeding challenges, don't we? You have to feed it. But if you take your milk away from it, it dies. So what does that tell you? The thing that you want alive, give your attention to it. Feed it by giving it your attention. The thing you no longer want alive, remove your attention from it and it dies. You see? That's how we apply it mentally. You don't go out and, oh, look, there's a little lamb, let me kill it. What? No. The old way is what is sacrificed upon the altar of the new life. But I digress, so let me preach. You know how I tend to get all fired up and sweaty. So let me not do that. So this morning when you hear the bowl, I always tell you, if you are driving, focus on the road. That is your responsibility. But if you are in a place that is, safe, you're at your desk or you're still puttering around the house, you can do this. But once you get to your destination, as you've driven there, now you can call this up again and do it. Okay? As you hear the bowl and possible bird song, call up to your mind now what it is you say you want to experience in your life. What material thing is it? Because a hungry man only has one thing on his mind, and that is to be fed. So what is it that has disturbed the pool of your mind at Bethesda? Shoot, how beautiful was that? That lecture last night, Lord. Your mind is the pool. Your desire has troubled the pool. What's troubling your pool this morning? What do you want to experience? Well then, name it. And then, what would you do naturally if you had this desire that you so want to have in your life today? How would you behave? What's the first thing you would do? Woohoo! Or, oh my God, what would you do? Now, you can either act it out in your mind's eye, because you're the actor, right? Or you can use a phrase that you would say. Neville suggested either thank you or isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Or thank you. But once you say it, it has to give you closure that the thing you are creating is completed. Because if the mind still remains troubled, well then, you have not accepted. So bring it to your mind's eye when you hear the bowl and bird song, and either confirm it by way of a short scene of what you would do. Would you shake somebody's hand or hug somebody? What? Do it in your mind's eye. Feel them as being real. Or if you say thank you, or you say, wow, isn't it wonderful? Yes. Call that to mind. and allow yourself to get into that troubled pool. Because why? The first person to get into the pool, listen to it. The first person to get into the pool. Who's the first person? I am is first person present tense. Even when you say it, the first person into that pool that has been disturbed is the one who is healed. So I am, that's the first person in the pool. So get in the pool this morning. Nobody can beat you there. Nobody can beat you there. Get in the pool as you hear the bird song in the bowl and back float on it. Now lean back, right? Just allow the weight of the water to hold you up because it is done. You are relaxed now. No need. There's no current anywhere. The water is still because you have your desire. You are no longer wanting it or desiring it. You have it as you lay upon the water and are still. Hello, Landon. Let me get the bowl. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Twitter. Oh, Tiffany. Let's go. I see you. It's symmetric. I see you and driving tea. Thank you all for being here this lovely morning. I think we're Thursday, are we? All the days just melt together, don't they? I'll see you tonight. I don't. Yes. I don't remember what lecture we're doing tonight, but 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be there. And if you have any questions, you can always slide into my DMs. Yes? Much love to you, Twitter. Tiffany and JV. Yes. Whew. All right, y'all. Twitter. Love you. I'll see you tonight. Twitter is closed. YouTube, Facebook, Landon. It was brilliant to see you this morning. Send me a note, Landon, darling. It's been quite some time since I've spoken to you. Checkmate. Jeff? Yes. You choose the cause by choosing the effect. Cause and effect go together. The better man? Rone. Double A. A not. Thank you all for being here on YouTube and Facebook this morning. Yes, and he's saying, have a good day, y'all, is what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Much love to you, YouTube and Facebook. I will keep you posted on everything.